Alright, movie centuries, let's talk Spider-Man, and more specifically, the Venom symbiote. Because if the latest chatter turns out to be even partially true, Marvel Studios may finally be setting up the storyline fans have been waiting decades to see. Now, before anyone gets carried away, let's be clear from the jump. This is still in rumor territory. Nothing here is officially confirmed by Marvel. But when the same idea keeps resurfacing from multiple directions, it's usually worth paying attention. And right now, the Venom symbiote is back in the conversation in a big way as Marvel gears up for the next Spider-Man trilogy, starting with Spider-Man Brand New Day. So let's break down what's being said, why it matters, and where some caution is probably healthy. For longtime fans, the symbiote storyline is one of the most important arcs in Spider-Man history. In the comics, Peter Parker doesn't just stumble into a new black suit for style points. During the original Secret Wars storyline, Spider-Man is taken by the Beyonder and stranded on Battleworld. His red and blue suit is torn to shreds, and while searching for a way to repair it, Peter finds what he believes is an advanced machine. That machine turns out to be something very different. Instead of fixing his suit, it bonds to him, a living alien organism that reshapes itself into the iconic black costume. At first, it seems like an upgrade, enhanced strength, organic webbing, instant costume changes, but over time, Peter realizes the suit is influencing his behavior, feeding off his aggression, and trying to permanently bond with him. Eventually, Peter rejects it, and that rejection is key. The symbiote, now wounded and angry, finds a new host in Eddie Brock. Together, they become Venom, not just another villain, but a dark mirror of Spider-Man himself. Venom knows Peter's identity, shares his powers, and carries a deep personal hatred for him. That dynamic is why Venom became one of Spidey's most enduring and complex enemies. Now, we have technically seen Spider-Man and Venom clash on screen before. Sam Raimi attempted to adapt a storyline in Spider-Man 3 back in 2007. While ambitious, the execution left a lot of fans disappointed. The symbiote arc was compressed, Eddie Brock's development was rushed, and Venom felt more like an obligation than a fully realized threat. After that, Sony took Venom in a very different direction. Tom Hardy's Venom trilogy reimagined Eddie Brock as a lethal protector, largely detached from Spider-Man altogether. Those films leaned heavily into anti-hero territory, buddy cop humor, and standalone storytelling. Whether that worked or not depends on who you ask, but one thing was clear. This was not the traditional Spider-Man-Venom rivalry fans knew from the comics. Which brings us to the present. For a while now, rumors have been swirling that Marvel Studios intends to properly introduce the symbiote into the MCU Spider-Man storyline, starting with Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is currently slated to kick off a brand new trilogy. And now, insider Daniel Richtman is adding fuel to that fire. According to Richtman, Marvel Studios reportedly wants its own take on the Venom symbiote for this new trilogy. If accurate, that's a significant detail. It suggests Marvel isn't interested in importing Sony's version wholesale, nor bringing back Tom Hardy as an Eddie Brock variant. That alone will be divisive. Tom Hardy's Venom has a loyal fan base, and his absence would definitely disappoint some viewers. But from a storytelling perspective, Marvel wanting a clean slate does make sense, especially if the goal is to tell a more comic-accurate symbiote arc tied directly to Peter Parker. This is where things get interesting. With Michael Mandel's Mac Gargan already introduced in Spider-Man Homecoming, the pieces are technically in place for a version of Venom that aligns more closely with the source material. In the comics, Gargan eventually becomes Venom after Eddie Brock. He's violent, unstable, and far less heroic, which could fit the tone of a darker Spider-Man chapter. That doesn't mean Eddie Brock is off the table entirely, but it does hint that Marvel might be thinking long-term, not just about fan service, but about narrative structure. The rumored roadmap goes something like this. Peter Parker encounters the symbiote during Avengers Secret Wars, bonds with it briefly, and unknowingly brings it back to Earth. From there, the black suit storyline unfolds across the next Spider-Man films, eventually leading to Venom's full emergence. On paper, that sounds ideal. In practice, there are some valid questions. Spider-Man No Way Home ended with Eddie Brock briefly crossing into the MCU and leaving behind a piece of the symbiote in Earth 616. That moment felt very deliberate, almost like a promise. However, Venom: The Last Dance complicated things by partially walking that setup back. Exactly how or why remains messy. Even fans who enjoyed the movie admitted the explanation didn't entirely add up. So while Marvel may want a fresh start, continuity hurdles still exist. That said, Tom Hardy himself has been candid about how close a Spider-Man crossover came to happening and how disappointed he was that it never materialized. He said, "We got close. We got as close as I could possibly imagine getting, apart from doing a film together, which I would have loved to have done, because that just means so much fun. Fundamentally, for me, it would be for the kids." He went on to explain why the crossover mattered so much to him. Because, as much as adults love superhero films, as you can tell by the box office when they're successful, I think I'm constantly reminded by children how important these characters are, and they don't know why their favorite characters aren't in films together. That quote hits a nerve, because at the end of the day, Spider-Man and Venom belong together. Keeping them apart for licensing or tonal reasons has always felt artificial. Marvel stepping in to redefine the symbiote on its own terms could finally fix that, if it's handled carefully. And that's the operative phrase, carefully. A symbiote storyline isn't just about a cool black suit. It's about temptation, identity, and consequences. It's about Peter Parker losing control and realizing that power, unchecked, can corrupt even the best intentions. If Marvel rushes it, sanitizes it, or turns it into a surface-level spectacle, the impact is lost. At the same time, Marvel also has to balance tone. This is still Spider-Man, not a horror franchise. There's a narrow lane between darker storytelling and tonal whiplash, especially in a post-multiverse MCU that's already juggling a lot. Behind the camera, Spider-Man: Brand New Day has some promising talent attached to. The film is being directed by destined Daniel Richtman, who previously helmed Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings. The script comes from returning Spider-Man writers Chris McKenna and Eric Summers, a duo deeply familiar with Tom Holland's version of Peter Parker. That continuity matters. After the ending of No Way Home, Peter is alone, anonymous, and stripped of his support system. Introducing the symbiote during this phase of his life could feel earned, a dangerous shortcut when he's emotionally vulnerable. But again, this all depends on execution. Marvel wanting its own take doesn't guarantee success. It simply means they're aware of what's at stake. Whether they truly commit to the depth of the story or play it safe remains to be seen. As of now, Spider-Man: Brand New Day is scheduled to hit theaters on July 31st, 2026. Which gives Marvel plenty of runway to plant seeds, build tension, and let this storyline breathe, if that's truly the plan. So the question isn't just will we see Venom done right in the MCU, it's how they choose to do it. Do you want a comic-accurate symbiote arc spread across multiple films, or a faster, streamlined approach? Should Marvel completely move on from Tom Hardy's Venom, or find the way to merge those worlds? And if Venom finally faces Spider-Man again, who should be under the suit? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I want to hear where you land. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Movie Sentry, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch up in the next video. Peace out!